This worksheet has three different parts. First is to fill in the squares on the left. Next is to fill in the circles with shading and use that shading to render the shapes in the middle. Number 3 is to connect these dots. So let's start with the squares. I'm using short dashes in this box. In this one, vertical hatching. This box gets cross hatching. This box gets stippling or dots. Next, we have wavy lines. This box gets scribbles. So you can just use random lines going in multiple directions. For the other half of the boxes, we're going to create our own unique patterns. So this one will be a series of plus marks. This one, I'm going to use a series of circles. This one is going to be kind of like stippling. This one is going to be a series of multi-directional line segments. This one I'm using wavy horizontal lines. For this box, I'm going to create the black value using cross-hatching technique. To shade these three circles, I'm going to use some of these techniques just around the edge of the circle. So I'll start with stippling. And if I add more dots overlapping on the edge, that's going to create a darker value. For this one, I'm going to use short dashes. And then I'm going to add the same amount of vertical lines. This one, I'm going to use a series of curved lines, and I'm following the direction of the circle. To complete the middle part, you can use a combination of the three different tools. So I'm going to start in this box and use stippling and the fine point Sharpie to fill in the background. I'm switching to the ultra fine point Sharpie, and I'm going to add a series of vertical lines. And then for this shape, I'm going to use the same technique I used here, where I'm following the curve of the bottom edge. And then same thing on this side. For this image, I'm going to use a series of plus marks in the background. And for the bottom, I'm going to add a series of horizontal lines. I'll do the same thing to the top oval. And I'll use stippling on the edges. For this image, I'm going to use hatching for the front shape on the cube. For the side, I'm going to use cross hatching. For the background, I'm just going to draw random shapes and fill them in with black. For the top, I'm adding a series of horizontal wavy lines. And I'm doing the same thing for the bottom. One difference with the bottom is I'm going to fill in every other shape with value. Lastly, we're going to use the 3 different tools to create 3 different line thicknesses. So the top is a ballpoint pen. That's going to give us our thinnest line. Next is the ultra fine Sharpie, and we can see that that line is a little bit thicker. For the bottom, I'm using the fine point Sharpie, and that's going to be the thickest line